Well, boys and girls, and maybe moms and dads, and grandmas and grandpas, happy Chanukah. We're so pleased to be able to bring these stories to you each night as a gift from all of us here at the RJC. And special thanks to my friend, Mr. David Winter, for his help in bringing them to you. If you've ever been in Jerusalem, there is one kind of animal that you cannot walk 5 steps without seeing. And that animal is the cat. Everywhere in Yerushalayim, there are cats. Light cats, dark cats, big cats, small cats, young cats, old cats. Cats. Did you ever wonder why, of all the animals in the world, Yerushalayim has cats? Well, I'll tell you a story. Happened long, long ago. That a tiny little kitten somehow wandered into the courtyard of the Beit HaMikdash. It was early in the morning. It was cold. And the Cohen Gadol was just coming to work, running all of the important things that happened in the temple each day. And he heard this tiny mewing sound, and this little cat, shivering with cold and probably very hungry, was hiding in a corner. The Cohen Gadol took pity on the little cat and picked him up and took him inside and warmed him and gave him a saucer of milk. Well, the cat never left the Beit HaMikdash, but he found a way to make himself very useful. If any mice came into the Beit HaMikdash to try to nibble on the flour that was used for the special mincha offerings, the cat would jump and catch them. But this was a very special cat. This cat knew that a dead mouse was not allowed to be in the Beit HaMikdash because it could make things tameh, which would mean that they were spoiled and they would have to be burned. And so the cat would carefully pick up the mouse, jumping all around. He would sneak out a special little hole that he had found in the walls of the Beit HaMikdash. He would set the little mouse down and, in cat language, would explain to the mouse that the Beit HaMikdash was no place for mice, and that he should please find another place in Yerushalayim to live, and tell his friends to stay away from the Beit HaMikdash. Well, this happened once, and twice, and many times, until almost all of the mice in Yerushalayim had at one point or another attempted to sneak into the Beit HaMikdash. But what they came back with was the story of the gentle cat who didn't hurt them, but just gently took them by the scruff of their necks, just like a mother mouse would, and took them out of the Beit HaMikdash and gave them a warning. Well, the mice came to love the holy cat so much that they stopped coming into the Beit HaMikdash. And each day, the cat would very carefully make a thorough tour just to make sure there were no mice. But there were none. Not ever. And each day, the cat would get her saucer of milk from the Cohen Gadol. And each day, she would make her tour. Well, it happened one day that terrible strangers broke into the Beit HaMikdash, the Greeks, and they messed up everything. The Beit HaMikdash cat had never seen such wild and messy behavior in all her life. Her dear friend, the Cohen Gadol, had to leave for a while, and the people who came to take his place had no milk to offer the Beit HaMikdash cat. So she would walk around very sad and find whatever little things she could to eat, always making sure that the mice did not return. One day, there was a happy noise that came into the Beit HaMikdash. One of the families of the Kohanim, the Chashmonaim, the children of Matityahu, threw out the bad guys and came to the Beit Mikdash. And they cleaned, and they cleaned, and they cleaned. And the Cohen Gadol supervised all this terrible work of cleanup of all the mess. Yachfeh. And as he did, he felt something warm and gentle by his foot, and he saw his old friend, the cat. Well, he petted her and quickly went to get her some nice milk in a saucer. But the cat saw that the Cohen Gadol was not that happy. Something was missing. There was no oil to light the menorah. The oil had to come from a special sealed jar, and no one could find any. Well, there was one somebody who knew every corner of the Beit HaMikdash better than any of them. She knew every corner where a mouse could hide. And she went, and she searched, and she looked, and she peered, until in one little tiny space, hardly bigger than a mouse, she found a tiny jar of oil. And as gently as she used to pick up the mice, she picked it up in her mouth by its handle and brought it to her friend, the Kohen Gadol. When the Kohen Gadol saw this, his eyes filled up with tears. He took the cat into his arms and stroked her and said, "My dear, dear friend, you have always watched over this place with so much love. And tonight, the menorah will burn bright and clean and pure, all because of you. I give you my blessing that you and your children will always be here in Yerushalayim. And someday, when this house has been destroyed, and the Jewish people wait for hundreds of years for the Mashiach to come and to rebuild Hashem's house in Yerushalayim, you and your children will be here to meet him. When you see cats in Yerushalayim, my friends, don't think they're just running around. Don't think that they're looking for garbage. Do you know what they're doing? They're waiting for Mashiach. Have a very happy Chanukah, my dears, and may the light of the menorah burn in your pure hearts till you're 120. Good yat.